Hi, I'm Patricia Goodman of patriciagoodman.com, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by to watch this video. This is part 3 in my video series, What Are You Doing with the Rest of Your Life? And in this video, I wanted to begin walking through the 6 key steps you need to be considering if you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. So in this video, we're going to look at step number 1, which is identify the various business options that are available to you. And when we look at the different options, we can really break them down into 5 major categories. And those categories are, number 1, start your own business. Number 2, purchase a business from someone else. Number 3, purchase a franchise. Number 4, become a consultant based on your area of expertise. And number 5, establish a web-based business. And this can take several different forms. So now that we've identified the 5 business options available, let's look at them in a little bit more detail by considering the pros and cons of each of them. And to do that, I'm going to refer to my notes to make sure I don't skip anything. So beginning with the first business opportunity, starting your own business. Some of the pros would include having the ability to choose a niche market that you are passionate about and building your business around that passion. Pro number 2, being able to determine the products and the services that you would be offering. Pro number 3, defining your own business model. Pro number 4, since this is a fresh new business, you have not inherited any problems from anyone else. And pro number 5, it's your business, so you make the rules and you decide how everything is run. Now let's consider some of the cons. Some of the cons include number 1, the dollar amount of your initial investment in the business can be large due to the fact that you have startup costs, such as acquiring your initial inventory, building out your facility, those types of things. Con number 2, are you able to get the financing from outside sources? This may be difficult if this is your first business endeavor. Con number 3, a customer base does not exist. You need to build it from the ground up. So on day 1, when you open your doors, you don't actually have any revenue coming through. Therefore, it can take you longer to recoup your initial investment. And con number 4, do you have all the skill sets needed to both build the business out and then manage it on a day-to-day basis? This can be very challenging. So those are the pros and the cons for starting your own business. So let's move on to the second business option, which is buying your own business. The pros of buying a business include it's already operational. So there are no startup costs. You acquire the entire operation, which includes the employees, the inventory, the systems, the facilities, the customers, and the suppliers. Pro number 2, you acquire a living, breathing business. Therefore, you have a revenue immediately coming through the door on day 1. Pro number 3, the business has financial records, and that can make obtaining financing for a purchase much easier. And pro number 4, you are able to evaluate the profitability of the business so you understand what you are truly getting yourself into. Now let's look at the cons. The cons to consider are, number 1, the reason the business is being sold. Are there any problems with the business? And if so, can you overcome them? Con number 2, you inherit the entire operation. Now, while we did say that's a pro, it can also be a con if there are some shortcomings associated with the business. And when you acquire it, you cannot immediately go in on day 1 and make changes to that business. Changes take time. Con number 3, there can be a gap or a lack of knowledge as a result of the loss of the previous owner. There can also be a loss of relationships as a result of the previous owner leaving, and that's, say, relationships with suppliers. And con number 4, employee morale. How loyal were the employees to the previous owner, and does that present a problem for you? Are the current employees concerned about losing their jobs? So those are the pros and the cons associated with buying a business. So let's move on and look at the third business option. The third business option is buying a franchise. Now, most people are familiar with fast food franchises such as McDonald's or Burger King, but anything can and has been franchised. Franchises come in all shapes and sizes. The definition of a franchise is a franchisor licenses the rights to sell his products and services to someone else who becomes the franchisee. This usually includes the proprietary methods for operating the business, as well as systems, training, logos, so that there's consistency across all franchises operating. Now, the pros associated with buying a franchise include, number one, you have immediate brand name recognition. Number two, there is a proven formula for operating the business. Number three, you receive assistance with training, operational issues, marketing promotions, and advertising. Number four, some franchisors negotiate discounts with suppliers. Number five, because of the franchise resources available to you, you may be able to get your business up and running more quickly. And number six, you are able to attract customers more quickly and generate revenue more quickly, again, because of the brand name recognition. Some of the cons include, number one, you must abide by the franchisor's operating rules or you can risk losing your franchise. Number two, you must pay a franchise fee on an ongoing basis. It's usually a percentage of revenue, and that's an additional monthly expense that you didn't have in either of the two previous business options that we talked about. And number three, your startup costs can be higher than those of either starting or buying a business from someone else. And the reason for that is the added cost of paying for that initial license fee to sell the franchise product. And the more successful a franchise is, the higher their franchising license fee is. So those are the pros and cons associated with purchasing a franchise. So let's move on now to our next option. Our fourth option is becoming a consultant, and this option is available to you if you have expertise in a particular area. So let's look at some of those pros. First of all, your initial financial investment can be small, so there's definitely a lower risk to starting this type of business. Number two, you are your own boss. Number three, you have flexibility in your work life because you set your own schedule. And number four, your income potential can be higher doing this type of work, consulting, versus if you did the same type of work as an employee. Now, some of the cons to consider include you usually operate independently without any type of staff. You're usually a one-man show. Number two, it can take a long time to build up your client base. And as a result of that, a third con is you can put your personal finances at risk. And number four, while you are your own boss, because you do have many clients, it can actually be said that you are working for multiple bosses. So those are the pros and the cons associated with becoming a consultant. So now let's move on to our final business option that we'll be looking at. The final business option we're looking at is establishing a web-based business. And the pros and the cons associated with this are very similar to that of establishing a consulting business. And that's because at least initially you're operating as a one-man show, so to speak. Now, some examples of what a web-based business opportunity might look like include becoming a web merchant, where you would establish a store on eBay, becoming a freelancer, such as a freelance writer or website designer or graphic designer, working as a virtual assistant, where you're helping somebody else and performing jobs associated with their business, or becoming, say, an affiliate marketer, where you're marketing and promoting somebody else's product in return for commission payments. So those are just a few examples. There are many, many others as well. But let's look at some of the pros and then the cons. So some of the pros include your initial financial investment can be small, therefore it's much easier to get started in a web-based business. You are your own boss. Again, you create your own work schedule. Your business can be started on a part-time basis if you desire, and then you can grow it into a full-time business opportunity once you've had a chance to get it established. Number 5, you have a global customer base, so your customers can come from anywhere in the world. You're not restricted geographically. And number 6, your business can operate 24/7, enabling you to actually make money while you're sleeping. Now, some of the cons include you are a one-person business, so you're responsible for all of the tasks. Number 2, you need to learn how to market your business online, which is a different form of marketing than if you were to market a traditional business. Number 3, it can take a long time to establish your web presence. Number 4, as a result of taking time to establish your presence, it can take time to establish a long time to establish your client base as well. And number 5, you may put your personal finances at risk just because of the lead time it takes to get your business established. So to summarize, the 5 types of business opportunities that we've looked at include number 1, starting your own business, number 2, buying a business, number 3, purchasing a franchise, number 4, becoming a consultant, or number 5, establishing a web-based opportunity. So I hope looking at some of the pros and the cons associated with each of these business options has provided you with some food for thought as you think about what your next steps need to be. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about conducting market research so that you can ensure that the business option that you should select is a viable option. So I hope you found this video helpful. I've enjoyed speaking with you. I'm Patricia Goodman. Take care.